Hello everyone, this is your friend Naruto Fix, and we are back with another epic What If Naruto fanfic. Which is, what if Naruto's mother's blessing made him the king of all nations? If you love Naruto fanfics, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the journey with me. So, let's start the fanfic. Prologue, The Whisper of a Mother's Soul. The sky above Konoha burned with twilight golds and purples. The air was calm, but beneath that calmness was a current of destiny, one that even the strongest shinobi could not foresee. Years had passed since the Fourth Great Ninja War. Peace reigned, yet it was fragile, the kind of peace that trembles with every political whisper. The nations stood divided again, not by hatred, but by fear of power, fear of one another, and fear of a boy who had become a legend. Uzumaki Naruto, the savior of the world, the seventh Hokage, the one who united tailed beasts and humans alike, but now, even peace felt heavy to him. He looked out from the Hokage tower as the sun sank behind the Hokage mountain, painting his father's face in the light of fading glory. Beneath that orange sky, Naruto whispered softly, "Greater than, Ka-chan, kya yehi thi tumhari dua. Mujhe sabki liye lat rina." He had everything, love, family, respect, and yet something inside him felt incomplete. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw his mother's smile. That tender warmth, that fire that had shielded him from darkness. But tonight, that smile returned differently. A soft breeze passed, carrying a faint voice, a voice he hadn't heard since childhood. "Greater than, Naruto, my son, your time has come." Naruto froze. His hand trembled. It wasn't imagination. It was her, Kushina Uzumaki, her chakra, her soul. A swirl of red chakra spiraled around him, forming a glowing figure, long red hair flowing like liquid fire, eyes shimmering with infinite effecti. "On. Greater than, Ka-chan," Naruto whispered, eyes widening. How are you here?" Kushina smiled, the same way she did the day she sacrificed herself. "Greater than, my son, I sealed a part of my soul within you. A blessing, but also a burden. When your heart becomes heavy with doubt, that blessing awakens." Naruto's breath hitched. "Blessing." Kushina floated closer, touching his forehead. The moment her hand met his skin, a torrent of memories and energy flooded his mind, ancient scrolls, golden flames, seals older than the sage of Six Paths himself. "Greater than, you carry not just the blood of Uzumaki, Naruto, but the blessing of the First Queen, a divine chakra meant to guide the world, not just protect it." Naruto's eyes glowed for a moment, his pupils flickered between blue and gold. "Greater than, Queen," he muttered. Kushina nodded softly. "Our clan's founder was not merely a chakra master, but a ruler chosen by heaven. And that same blood, my blessing, has chosen you. You are destined to become the king of all nations, my son." Quote, the air pulsed with divine pressure. The walls of the Hokage office trembled. Kurama stirred within Naruto. "Greater than, Naruto, something's changing inside you," Kurama rumbled. "This isn't ordinary chakra, it's celestial. Even I can feel its divinity." Naruto clenched his fists. "I don't want a throne. I just want peace." Kushina smiled gently. "Greater than, then rule for peace, Naruto. The nations may have peace today, but tomorrow, they'll break it again. Only a heart like yours can hold them together forever." The blessing's seal flared. Her form began to fade. "Greater than, my son, when the world rejects peace again, remember this moment. Let your mother's love guide you, not as a Hokage, but as a king." Quote, with those words, Kushina's light dissolved, but the mark of her blessing burned into Naruto's heart, a golden spiral, like the sun itself. The room fell silent. Naruto stood there, breath trembling, the seal glowing faintly beneath his shirt. And so began the prophecy. Greater than the reign of the blessed king. Chapter 1 The Gathering Storm. Months later, Naruto began to notice it. Strange chakra signatures across the world. Nations secretly rearming. Old grudges whispering back to life. Kumo and Iwa had begun border tensions again. The alliance treaties were crumbling. Even the daimyos, the political rulers, began questioning the existence of Hokages and Kages, wanting power for themselves. In a meeting of the 5 Kage Summit, voices rose like thunder. Gaara, peace is fading again. We must stand together. Kuretsuki, together. Konoha has the strongest Jinchuriki, the best technology. Do you think the world doesn't see that as a threat? Darui, no one wants another war, but fear always breeds weapons. Naruto sat silently, his heart heavy. The blessing's mark pulsed beneath his cloak. He could feel something growing, a chakra within him that hummed with divine energy, trying to awaken. Greater than, Kaa-chan, this is what you meant, isn't it? He thought. Then, in the middle of the summit, the skies above cracked with golden light. A column of celestial chakra descended, visible to every cage. It surrounded Naruto, his body glowing with markings like ancient runes. Temari gasped, "What is that power?" Gaara whispered, "It's not human." Quote, the world froze. Even the air bowed. Naruto opened his eyes, glowing gold like a sun reborn. Greater than, enough. His voice echoed like thunder. The world will not fall into fear again. Every cage felt their chakra suppressed. Not by force, but by presence. Naruto's chakra didn't attack them, it commanded respect. A wave of energy spread across the nations. Trees bloomed instantly. Storms calmed. Even distant villages felt peace settle like a divine aura. Kurama's voice echoed inside. Greater than, this is your mother's blessing, Naruto, the chakra of dominion. You're not just a leader now, you're becoming something far greater. Naruto dropped to one knee, panting, sweat rolling down his face. Greater than, I don't want to be worshipped. I just want everyone to stop fighting. But the damage was done. That day, people across every village saw visions of Naruto glowing like a god, commanding peace itself. The next morning, rumors spread. Greater than, the blessed king has returned. The mother's son will rule the nations. Naruto Uzumaki, the child of heaven. Chapter 2 The Birth of the Divine Empire. At first, Naruto rejected it. He told himself he wasn't a king. He tried to hide his power. But as months passed, events forced his hand. A rebellion broke out in the land of iron. Daimyos from the smaller nations formed a secret pact to control shinobi again. Villagers were starving due to corruption and greed. Naruto couldn't stand by. He traveled alone, no guards, no allies, to the rebel lands. But wherever he stepped, the earth glowed. Fields healed, broken weapons melted into dust. A rebel leader shouted, "Greater than, we don't need another god. We need justice." Naruto walked to him calmly, eyes kind but firm. "Greater than, then I'll give you justice, not as a god, but as your brother." He extended his hand, and the man fell to his knees as warmth spread through him. His hate vanished, replaced by peace. By the end of that month, 15 nations knelt before Naruto, not by force, but by faith. They called him, Tenno no Shinobi, the king of all nations. He ruled not from a throne, but from a wooden table surrounded by friends. He didn't demand loyalty, he inspired it. Hinata watched him from afar, her heart trembling with pride and fear. "Greater than, Naruto-kun, this power of yours, it's beautiful, but will it take you away from us?" Quote, Naruto smiled at her one night under the stars. "Greater than, if it ever does, remind me that I'm just a fool who once wanted to be Hokage." But fate was cruel. The more he united, the more the old powers feared him. An ancient group emerged, the Shadow Court, descendants of the sage's forgotten line. They claimed Naruto's divine rule would destroy the world's balance. Their leader, cloaked in black and silver, appeared before Naruto's council one day. "Greater than, you call yourself king, but no mortal may hold heaven's blessing. That power belongs to the gods, and we will take it back." Naruto stood tall, wind swirling around him. "Greater than, then you'll have to fight a son who carries his mother's love, and the hope of the world." Quote, and as he said those words, the spiral mark on his chest exploded into golden fire. The era of the Blessed King's War had begun. Chapter 3 The King's Heart. The more Naruto fought, the more divine his power became, yet the lonelier he felt. The nations adored him, worshipped him even. Temples rose in his honor. Songs were written. But every night, he sat alone at his desk, eyes drifting to his mother's photo. "Greater than, Kaa-chan, I'm doing what you wanted. But, am I still myself? Kurama sighed within him. Greater than, you're walking a path no one else can, Naruto. But don't forget, kings who forget their hearts become tyrants. Naruto smiled sadly. Greater than, yeah. Guess that's why I need to stay the fool I always was. Yet fate would not rest. The Shadow Court launched a massive assault, striking at every nation under Naruto's rule. Their weapons could cut through chakra, the jutsu could erase memory itself. During one such attack, Hinata was injured protecting a group of children. Naruto held her as she bled, his golden aura flickering like dying fire. Greater than, why do they keep fighting? He cried. Hinata touched his face weakly. Greater than, because, they fear what they don't understand, my king. Those words broke him, not in pain, but in resolve. He stood, eyes burning with divine fury. Greater than, then I'll make them understand. Not through fear, but through truth. Quote, he raised his hand to the sky. The heavens opened. Every person across the nation saw him in the dreams, not as a god, not as a king, but as a boy who once wanted love, recognition, and peace. Greater than, I'm not your ruler. I'm one of you, his voice echoed in every heart. But if my mother's blessing means anything, it means love that never ends. So fight not for me, fight for each other. That night, the world united once more. The Shadow Court fell, but Naruto knew this was only the beginning. Because somewhere, beyond Eventime, another presence watched him, a celestial being, smiling softly. It was Kushina, whispering to herself. Greater than, you did it, my son. You became the king I always knew you were. And the golden spiral on Naruto's chest pulsed again, signaling that destiny had only just begun. Chapter 4: The Silence Before the Storm. The world slept in uneasy peace. The skies over the nations glowed with strange auroras, remnants of Naruto's divine chakra that had stabilized the planet. For the first time in centuries, there were no wars, no hunger, no hate. But peace built on awe never lasts forever. Naruto stood atop the newly built Temple of Light, gazing at the moon. The golden spiral on his chest pulsed faintly beneath his robes. Kurama spoke softly inside him. Greater than, it's too quiet. The world's calm feels forced. Naruto nodded. Yeah, it's like the world's holding its breath. Then, the sky cracked. A thunderous roar shook the heavens as a tear of light opened above the clouds. From within it emerged beings of shimmering radiance, humanoid, but larger than life, their eyes burning with celestial energy. At their center floated a woman draped in white fire, eyes calm, voice cold. Greater than, Uzumaki Naruto, child of the mortal mother's blessing. You have stolen divinity that does not belong to your kind. Naruto's golden eyes widened. You're greater than, the seraphs, Kurama growled. Guardians of heaven's seal. The gods who rule above the sage's world. The woman raised her hand. Greater than, return the blessing, and the world may remain whole. Refuse, and you will force heaven to cleanse the earth. Naruto took a step forward, his voice steady. Greater than, my mother gave me this blessing to protect life, not destroy it. If you want to take it, you'll have to take me too. The seraph's wings spread, their light cutting through the night. Greater than, then so be it, King of mortals. Heaven decrees war, and so began the war of the heavens. Chapter 5: Clash of Light and Fire. They descended like falling stars. Each strike shattered mountains. Oceans trembled. Villages felt the shockwaves from miles away. Naruto stood in the center of the storm, his chakra cloak blazing brighter than ever. Kurama emerged partially from his back, a titanic figure of golden fur and burning eyes. Greater than, let's show them what a mother's love can do. Naruto shouted. Kurama roared, unleashing a tidal wave of chakra that clashed with the divine beams. The impact tore the sky apart. Hinata, Sakura, Sasuke, and the other nations' leaders rushed to the battlefield, staring at the sight that looked more myth than reality. Sasuke, TCH, he's fighting gods now. Sakura, he's not fighting for glory. He's fighting for us. Hinata, Naruto-kun, please come back alive. Above them, Naruto spun through the storm, hands forming signs. Greater than, sage art, divine raisin shuriken. A colossal sphere of spiraling gold erupted, colliding with the seraph's divine spears. Light and sound vanished, replaced by pure silence. When the glow faded, half the celestial army had been obliterated. But the leaders still stood, her armor cracked yet radiant. Greater than, impressive, mortal flame. But you wield what you do not understand. That blessing was meant for the true heir, not you. Naruto clenched his fists. If you think I don't understand love, then you don't understand humanity. He leapt forward, meeting her blade with his chakra-formed staff. Sparks of golden and silver light filled the sky. Their voices echoed across the world, one divine, one human, locked in a struggle that would decide existence itself. Chapter 6 The Heart of a King. As the battle raged for days, Naruto began to weaken. His mortal body couldn't sustain divine energy forever. Blood dripped from his mouth. Kurama's voice grew fainter. Greater than, Naruto, your body's breaking down. If this keeps up, I know, but I can't stop. If I fall, everyone falls. He stumbled to one knee. The Seraph leader landed before him, her sword glowing with starlight. Greater than, even kings bleed, she whispered. Return the blessing and rest, mortal. Naruto looked up, smiling faintly despite the pain. Greater than, you still don't get it, do you? My blessing isn't just from heaven, it's from my mother. Quote. He pressed his hand to his heart. The golden spiral blazed, and for an instant, Kushina's voice filled the air, soft, fierce, and proud. Greater than, my son, rise. Golden fire erupted from Naruto's body, transforming him. His cloak of chakra turned into armor of pure sunlight. Wings of energy burst from his back. The Seraph stepped back in shock. Greater than, impossible, a mortal achieving ascension. Naruto's voice thundered through the sky, calm yet unstoppable. Greater than, I don't need to be a god to protect this world. I just need to be me. He moved faster than light, striking through the Seraph legions one by one, not killing, but purifying them. Each one who fell saw visions of his memories, his pain, his loneliness, his love for his mother and friends. And they wept. The divine army knelt, their hatred erased by understanding. But the leader remained, trembling. You would forgive even us. Naruto smiled warmly. That's what being human means. Chapter 7 The Throne Beyond Heaven. The battlefield stilled. Clouds parted, revealing the true throne of the heavens, a radiant palace of infinite light. The Seraph leader turned toward it. Greater than, if you wish to end this, mortal king, you must face the source, the god who blessed your mother long ago. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Then I'll meet him. He ascended through the breach, golden flames trailing behind. As he entered the palace, a vast presence greeted him, neither man nor woman, but both. A voice that sounded like thunder and lullabies at once. Greater than, Naruto Uzumaki, son of love and chaos. You carry the blessing I gave your mother. Tell me, what do you seek? Naruto took a deep breath. Greater than, I don't seek power. I seek peace that doesn't depend on fear. I want a world where no child grows up alone like I did. Silence. Then, laughter. Deep, warm, echoing through creation. Greater than, you are the proof that even divinity can be surpassed by love. Very well. A light enveloped Naruto. Greater than, you shall not rule above the heavens, but with them. The blessing is now yours by right, King of Hearts, Guardian of Souls. The light entered him, merging heaven and humanity. The fracture between worlds healed instantly. The divine and mortal realms became one continuum of peace. Chapter 8 The Return of the King. Days later, the skies cleared. The nations looked up and saw a golden light descending, Naruto returning to Earth. Hinata ran forward, tears in her eyes. Greater than, Naruto-kun. He landed gently, his armor fading, replaced by his usual orange cloak. He looked exhausted but peaceful. He smiled at her. Greater than, told you I'd come back. Quote. Hinata hugged him tightly. Greater than, you're glowing. Guess that's just mom's love still shining through. Sasuke approached, arms crossed. Greater than, so, you're a god now. Naruto chuckled. Nah, just a fool who talks to gods. Quote. The cage, the civilians, even the Seraph survivors gathered around him. The new age had begun, not of kingship, but of unity. Naruto refused any throne. Instead, he created the Council of Harmony, where shinobi, civilians, and celestial beings shared power equally. When asked why he didn't rule directly, Naruto just said, "Greater than, because a true king doesn't rule with his crown, he rules with his heart." That night, as everyone celebrated, Naruto stood alone on a balcony, staring at the stars. He felt a breeze, and in it, her voice. "Greater than, Naruto, I'm proud of you." He closed his eyes, smiling softly. "Greater than, thanks, Kaa-chan. I just did what you do." The wind shimmered, carrying the scent of red flowers, Kushina's favorite. And for the first time, the world, heaven and earth, finally rested. The blessed king had fulfilled his mother's wish. Chapter 4: The Burden of a Crown. The world bowed before Naruto, yet his heart felt heavier than ever. Temples were being built in his name. Villagers prayed not to gods, but to him, the blessed king. Every day, scrolls arrived from faraway lands, requests for miracles, judgments between nations, pleas for healing. And each night, Naruto sat alone in his chambers, staring at the glowing spiral on his chest. "Greater than, Kaa-chan," he whispered, "I never wanted to be worshipped." Kurama's deep voice echoed in his mind. "Greater than, you wanted peace, not devotion. But humans, they don't understand the difference." Naruto sighed. "Then I'll teach them." He left the throne hall quietly and walked through the villages he had united. He saw children laughing, boys from Kumo playing with girls from Suna. Farmers sharing crops across borders. It was working. Peace was real. But behind that peace lurked unease, whispers of the Shadow Court, of jealous daimyos, of shinobi who thought a king betrayed the Hokage's legacy. As he passed a marketplace, an old man bowed deeply. "Greater than, bless us, O King of Light." Naruto knelt down instead. "Greater than, don't bow to me. Bow to each other. I'm just one of you." The crowd was silent, then slowly, one by one, they raised their heads and smiled. That moment reminded him why he fought in the first place. But far away, in the mountains of the Forgotten Lands, something darker stirred. Chapter 5: The Awakening of the Shadow Court. Deep beneath the ruins of an ancient temple, a circle of robed figures chanted in the dark. Their leader, a tall man with eyes like black suns, placed his hands upon a stone tablet carved with the Sage of Six Paths sigil. "Greater than, the blessing of heaven has been awakened by a mortal," he said. "The balance is broken. We must restore the old order." One of the disciples spoke nervously. "Greater than, but Lord Rai, the king's power is divine. We can't match it." Rai smiled. "Greater than, divine. No, his power is borrowed, and anything borrowed can be taken back." Quote. He pressed his palm to the stone, and crimson chakra oozed out like blood. "Greater than, prepare the ritual of nullity. We will unmake his blessing." As the temple trembled, a column of shadow rose toward the heavens, inverting the same golden aura that had once marked Naruto's reign. Back in Konoha, Naruto felt it instantly. The air turned cold. Birds stopped singing. The spiral on his chest burned. "Greater than, Kurama, someone's trying to unseal it." "Yeah," Kurama growled. "And whatever they're doing, it's not human." Quote. Naruto clenched his fists. "Then we stop them before they destroy everything Mom wanted." Chapter 6: The Return to the Ruins. Naruto gathered his closest allies, Sasuke, Hinata, Gaara, and Sakura. They stood before the ancient map of the shinobi world. Sasuke traced a finger along the northern range. "Greater than, the disturbance's chakra signature originates here, land of ash. Abandoned since the war." Gaara nodded. "No civilizations survived there for centuries." Naruto tightened his cloak. "Greater than, then that's where we start." The team traveled through storm and desert, guided only by the pulsing mark on Naruto's chest. Each night, he dreamed of his mother, her voice softer, fainter, as if calling from beyond the stars. "Greater than, Naruto, protect the light of men. Even kings can fall to darkness." He would wake in a sweat every time. After 3 days, they reached the ruins, a temple buried in ash and bone. Symbols glowed on the walls, the same spiral, but twisted, a mirror image of Kushina's blessing. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan. "Greater than, these runes aren't human. They belong to the pre-Sage era." Whoever did this is tampering with the laws of chakra itself. Then they saw it, a black crystal floating above the altar, pulsing with inverted light. It absorbed chakra from the air itself. Kurama's voice rumbled. Greater than, that's not a weapon, that's a seal breaker. Naruto stepped forward. Greater than, if it's made to undo a blessing, then it's meant for me. Before anyone could stop him, he placed his hand on the crystal. A blast of darkness exploded, throwing everyone back. Visions flooded Naruto's mind, his mother screaming, the world burning, a shadow with his own face wearing a crown of fire. Greater than, you were never chosen, the shadow hissed. You stole her love. Naruto fell to his knees, clutching his head. Hinata rushed to him. Naruto-kun. But when he looked up, his eyes were no longer blue, they glowed gold and black. Chapter 7 The Rise of the Shadow King. That night, the wind howled through the ruins. The others slept uneasily, but Naruto stood alone, his mind a storm. Inside him, two voices whispered, his mother's warmth and the cold dark tone of the shadow. Greater than, you can't save them all, Naruto. Watch me. But the shadow laughed. Greater than, even kings must choose. Peace or truth, love or power. For the first time, Naruto hesitated. He saw memories of wars, betrayal, human greed. Even after his reign, some people still hurt each other in secret. Greater than, maybe, they'll never change, he whispered. Kurama's growl cut through the silence. Greater than, don't you dare say that. You're Naruto Uzumaki. You change people by believing in them. Naruto smiled faintly. Yeah, guess I needed that. But the shadow was not gone. It lingered, its form coalescing behind him, a dark Naruto, identical but for his cold, cruel smile. Greater than, we'll meet again, it promised. When your faith fails you. Quote, and it vanished into the wind. Chapter 8 The Light Within. Naruto and his friends destroyed the crystal, but the damage was done. Part of the blessing's energy had escaped, and Naruto knew where it had gone, into that shadow. As they returned to the capital, he felt the world change again. Storms raged in lands that had been peaceful. Rivers ran black. The sky flickered between gold and crimson. At the council table, Gaara spoke grimly. Greater than, the balance is collapsing. The blessing you carry is the core of our world's stability. If it's splintered, so is reality. Naruto looked down. I'll find that shadow and take back what's mine. Sasuke nodded. I'll go with you. Hinata took his hand quietly. Wherever you go, I'm beside you. Naruto smiled, the same honest smile he'd worn since childhood. Greater than, then let's save this world again, for Car-chan, for everyone. Quote, Epilogue, The Two Kings. Far beyond the world of men, in a realm of mirrors and mist, the shadow stood upon a blackened throne. It held half of Naruto's divine seal in its hand, smiling as lightning flashed behind it. Greater than, he thinks he can rule peace. But peace breeds stagnation. I'll show him a better way. Its eyes burned like twin suns of darkness. Greater than, the age of the blessed king will end. The age of the Shadow King begins. Quote, and as the mirror cracked, two reflections of Naruto stared at each other, light and dark, love and power, destined to clash for the soul of the world. The Shadow and the Sun. Chapter 9 Whispers of the Dark Crown. Weeks passed since the crystal shattered. The nations began to feel strange tremors, the ground breathing like a sleeping beast, the sky flickering between day and dusk. Every healer reported the same thing. Chakra itself felt colder. In the great hall of the king's palace, the council gathered. Gaara, earthquakes in the western lands. Entire rivers reversing flow. Darui, our scouts saw a figure walking through lightning, looked like you, Naruto. Quote, the room fell silent. Naruto exhaled slowly. It's the other me, the half of the blessing that escaped. Sasuke's Rinnegan flickered. If that's true, you're not facing an enemy, you're facing your reflection. Quote, Kurama rumbled inside him. Greater than, that thing carries your mother's power twisted by doubt. If it grows stronger, it'll rewrite the world to match its will. Naruto clenched his fists. Then we stop it before that happens. Quote, Hinata placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Greater than, promise me, Naruto-kun, you won't lose yourself trying to save him. He smiled faintly. Greater than, if he's part of me, then saving him means saving myself. Quote, Chapter 10 Journey to the Forgotten Valley. Their search led them to the Valley of Beginnings, the place where chakra itself was first born. Legends said it was where the Sage of Six Paths spoke to the heavens, and where the first light met its first shadow. As they approached, the air shimmered gold and black. Naruto could feel his blessing pulse like a heartbeat, fast, fearful, eager. Sasuke halted. He's here. From the mist stepped a figure wearing the same cloak as Naruto, except the spiral on his chest spun in reverse. His eyes glowed crimson gold, his smile calm, almost kind. Greater than, so, you came, said the Shadow King. I wondered how long before you'd chase your own reflection. Naruto stepped forward. Greater than, you're not me. You're what's left when love turns to doubt. The shadow chuckled. Greater than, love, or weakness. You gave them peace, and now they kneel. You've made humanity tame. Lightning cracked across the valley. Their chakras collided, gold against black, wind against gravity. The shockwave erased entire ridges. Even Sasuke and Gaara had to retreat. Kurama growled. Greater than, careful, Naruto. He's using divine energy without limit. Quote, Naruto shouted through the storm. Greater than, I didn't ask for this power, but I'll use it to protect everyone my mother believed in. He formed a Rasengan glowing like a miniature sun. The shadow formed one of swirling darkness. When they clashed, the valley split open like the world's first wound. Chapter 11 Echoes of the Mother. Both were thrown apart, gasping. The wind carried a voice, soft, aching, familiar. Greater than, Naruto, my sons. Quote, it was Kushina's voice. Both Narutos froze, their marks blazed with light. The golden Naruto whispered, Ka-chan. The shadow's eyes widened. Mother. A ghostly figure appeared between them, red hair floating like fire, eyes gentle yet stern. Greater than, you both carry my blessing. One forged from love, the other born of fear. You were meant to be whole. The shadow snarled, pain twisting his face. Greater than, you left me. You left him. You made us chase a dream that never ends. Quote, Kushina's expression softened. Greater than, I never wanted to make you suffer. My blessing was meant to give you choice, not chain you. She looked at Naruto. Greater than, peace without pain is illusion. Remember that. Quote, then at the shadow. Greater than, and anger without love is destruction. Her light began to fade, leaving a final whisper. Greater than, unite, or the world will break. When she vanished, silence fell, only the sound of wind and cracking stones. The shadow looked shaken, uncertain for the first time. Greater than, maybe, she was wrong to trust us. Then he disappeared into the darkness before Naruto could reach him. Chapter 12 The Shattered World. After that encounter, the world itself began to fracture. Time twisted, day turned to night within seconds. Mountains floated like islands. Animals spoke in human voices, crying for help. Hinata ran to Naruto, clutching a trembling child from the border villages. Greater than, realities tearing apart. The villages are vanishing into light. Sasuke appeared beside them. Greater than, it's the blessing, both halves fighting for dominance. The world can't hold two kings. Naruto gritted his teeth. Then I'll find him and end this. Gaara stepped forward. Greater than, not by killing him. You'll destroy what's left of your mother's gift. Naruto's eyes softened. Then I'll bring him back, even if it kills me. Quote, that night, he stood atop the highest tower, looking over the flickering horizon. Kurama spoke quietly. Greater than, you can't keep saving everyone, kid. You're spreading yourself thin. Naruto smiled sadly. Greater than, that's the only way I know how to live. Chapter 13 The Mirror Within. To reach the shadow again, Naruto used an ancient Uzumaki seal known as the Mirror Path, a ritual that allowed entry into one's own soul. He sat in meditation while Hinata and Sasuke guarded him. Inside, he found himself standing in a world of mirrors, endless reflections of himself, laughing, crying, screaming. From the farthest mirror stepped the Shadow King. Greater than, welcome home. Naruto faced him calmly. I didn't come to fight. I came to understand. The The shadow tilted his head. Understand what? Greater than, why you hate what we are. The dark reflection hesitated. For the first time, his voice trembled. Greater than, because you forget the pain. You forgive too easily. You call everyone your friend, even those who would stab you again. You think love alone will fix the world. Quote, Naruto closed his eyes. Greater than, maybe it won't. But without love, the world isn't worth fixing. The shadow stared at him for a long moment, then smiled, almost genuinely. Greater than, that's exactly what she would have said. Quote, he stepped closer. If you truly believe that, then prove it. Take back the blessing, and with it, my pain. He thrust his hand into his own chest, pulling out the half-spiral of darkness, and slammed it into Naruto's heart. Naruto screamed as light and shadow fused, gold and black swirling like twin storms. Chapter 14 The Union of Light and Shadow. Outside, his body convulsed, seals flared across the palace floor. Hinata cried out, Naruto-kun. But Sasuke stopped her. Wait, look. Golden and black energy exploded upward, forming a colossal fox of pure yin-yang flame. Its roar echoed across every nation, shaking heaven itself. Inside the soul realm, Naruto stood, now whole. The shadow had vanished, leaving only a faint whisper. Greater than, don't waste what we suffered for. Naruto looked down at his hands, half glowing light, half dark. Greater than, guess we finally understand each other. Kurama's voice echoed, proud. Greater than, about time, brat. Chapter 15 The King's Promise. When Naruto opened his eyes in the real world, the chaos had stopped. The sky was clear again, the earth stilled. But his hair shimmered faintly gold-black, and his aura was calm like deep water. The nations watched as he addressed them from the palace balcony. Greater than, I'm not your god. I'm not your ruler. I'm just a man who carries his mother's blessing, and his own mistakes. Peace isn't something I give you, it's something you keep alive yourselves. People across the lands bowed, not from fear, but from understanding. That evening, Naruto walked alone to the garden planted in Kushina's memory. Hinata found him there, the moonlight brushing his face. Greater than, you did it, she whispered. No, he said softly. We did, even the part of me I wanted to forget. Quote, he looked up at the stars. Greater than, Ka-chan, your blessing didn't make me a king. It made me human enough to deserve one more sunrise. And the wind carried a faint laughter, warm, maternal, eternal. Part 1 Continuation, IV. The Calm Before the Crown. Chapter 16 The Weight of Dawn. For the first time in months, dawn rose normally. No broken skies, no trembling ground. Just golden light spilling over the rebuilt city of the United Nations, Konoha reborn, a capital of peace where very village banner hung side by side. Naruto stood atop the eastern wall, cloak fluttering. The mixed gold-black chakra that once terrified people now shimmered like living sunlight. He could hear the murmur of thousands beginning the day, farmers opening gates, children laughing, smiths hammering new dreams. And yet, the quiet hurt. Kurama spoke softly within him. Greater than, you fixed the world, brat. So why that face? Naruto smiled faintly. Greater than, because fixing it doesn't mean it'll stay fixed. Quote, he looked toward the horizon. Greater than, mother's blessing gave me the power to rule, but every blessing's a test. If I use it wrong, peace will turn to obedience again. Kurama grunted. Greater than, then don't sit on any throne. Keep walking among them. Naruto chuckled. Greater than, you sound like her. Chapter 17 The Silent Revolt. A week later, during the Festival of Renewal, a messenger stumbled into the palace, bloodied, terrified. Greater than, the northern provinces, they're burning. Rebels wearing the old banners of the cloud. Naruto's expression darkened. Greater than, war. After all this, Sasuke appeared beside him, Sharingan already glowing. Greater than, not war, desperation. Some don't want a world without lords and borders. Naruto clenched his fist. Greater than, then I'll go. But not as a king. He donned his old orange-black outfit beneath his royal cloak, the one that smelled of battles and dust and ramen broth. When he arrived in the north, He found entire villages destroyed, not by enemies, but by chaos itself. A figure led the rebellion, a silver-haired monk named Raijin, once a priest of the old gods. Raijin bowed mockingly. Greater than, the so-called king of nations graces us. Tell me, Naruto Uzumaki, when men worship you, what happens to the gods? Naruto frowned. Greater than, I never asked to be worshipped. Greater than, yet they kneel. Raijin's eyes burned. Your mother's blessing cut the gods from their altars. You've stolen divinity itself. He raised his staff, lightning spiraling skyward. From the clouds descended shapes, massive, luminous, ancient. Eyes older than time opened above the battlefield. The celestial deities had awakened. Chapter 18 The sky shatters. Thunder exploded like mountains breaking. Each god was a storm-given form, one of flame, one of sea, one of time. Their voices layered together into a sound like eternity itself. Greater than, mortal king, they thundered, return the power not meant for flesh. Naruto floated upward, cloak blazing, eyes fierce yet calm. Greater than, if my mother gave me this blessing, it was because the world needed it, not because gods demanded it. The gods attacked. Bolts of divine fire rained down, seas twisted into dragons, gravity reversed itself. Naruto counted with twin chakra orbs, one golden, one black, spinning like twin suns. Each blast of power bent reality but left the people untouched. Kurama roared within. Greater than, you can't beat them by force. They're feeding on faith. Naruto realized the truth. Every terrified villager praying for salvation gave the gods strength. He whispered, then I'll stop being the god. He spread his arms wide, absorbing every prayer, every cry, every ounce of faith, and released it as pure love back to T. He whirled. Light poured from him, not upward, but outward, into every heart. The gods faltered. Greater than, what, is this warmth? They trembled. Greater than, hope, Naruto said softly. Not devotion, just hope. Their forms cracked, dissolving into motes of light that rained like gentle snow. When the storm cleared, only silence remained, and the people looked up not in worship, but in gratitude. Chapter 19 The Broken Crown. Naruto landed heavily. His cloak was in tatters, eyes dim. The blessing had cost him, half his chakra was gone. Sasuke caught him before he fell. Greater than, you idiot, Sasuke muttered, voice trembling slightly. You took on gods with no backup. Naruto grinned weakly. Greater than, wouldn't be the first time. Hinata ran to them, tears bright. Greater than, Naruto-kun, your body. He lifted a finger to her lips. Greater than, shush. The world's quiet now. Let's enjoy it for a second. But as they watched the dawn rise again, a faint shadow rippled across the sky, a reminder that balance never lasts forever. Chapter 20 The Mother's Dream. That night, in the garden of the palace, Naruto sat alone. The flowers Kushina once loved, crimson lilies, swayed in the night wind. He heard her voice again, soft as moonlight. Greater than, Naruto, every blessing becomes a curse if you forget to rest. Quote. He smiled tiredly. Greater than, I'm trying, Karchan. But peace feels heavier than war. Greater than, because peace asks you to heal, not fight. Healing hurts more. He looked up at the stars. Greater than, do you think I'm worthy of being called king? Quote. Greater than, you were worthy the moment you chose to cry for others instead of yourself. Her image shimmered before him, hand brushing his cheek, then fading like morning mist. Chapter 21 The King of All Nations. Days later, every nation's leader gathered in the Great Hall. Gaara, Mei, Kuretsuki, Darui, and Chojuro knelt together before Naruto, not in submission, but unity. Greater than, from this day, Gaara said, we recognize not a king of power, but a king of heart. You are the bridge that binds all nations. Naruto looked around the hall, friends, rivals, even strangers smiling. He raised his hand and placed the broken crown Kushina had left on the table. Greater than, I don't need a crown, he said. Let it stay broken, to remind us peace isn't perfect, and that's okay. The crowd erupted in cheers. Hinata stood beside him, eyes shining. Greater than, so what now, my king? He turned to her with a warm grin. Greater than, now, we live, dash dash dash. Chapter 22 Epilogue, The Blessings Echo. Years later, children in every village would hear tales of the king without a throne, the man who united nations not by fear, but by love. They would speak of how his mother's blessing did not make him divine, it simply reminded him to be human in a world that had forgotten how. And on quiet nights, when the wind brushed the trees in Konoha Reborn, a faint voice could still be heard. Greater than, my son, you did it. The moonlight would flicker, and for a heartbeat, two shadows would walk together, one golden, one black, perfectly in balance. The heart beneath the crown. Dash dash dash. Chapter 23 When Silence Speaks. After the Great War against the gods, peace finally returned. But peace brought something Naruto never expected, silence. No cries, no battle roars, no orders shouted across fields. Only birds, children's laughter, and the hum of his own heartbeat. He should have felt happy. Instead, he felt hollow. Naruto stood on the balcony overlooking the endless lights of Konoha Reborn. Each light was a story, a life he'd sworn to protect. And yet, every night when he closed his eyes, he saw the faces of those he couldn't save, the soldiers who'd fallen. He was still learning to lead. Kurama's voice echoed softly inside. Greater than, you're thinking too much again, kid. Naruto smiled faintly. Greater than, can't help it. When there's no war left to fight, my mind makes one. Quote, Kurama sighed. Greater than, you've carried too many hearts for too long. Even kings have limits. Naruto whispered. Greater than, maybe kings shouldn't have hearts. The fox's tone grew gentle, something rare. Greater than, then you wouldn't be Naruto Uzumaki. Dash dash dash. Chapter 24 Hinata's Prayer. Late one night, Hinata found him standing alone in the moonlit garden. The broken crown lay in the grass beside him, half buried in dew. She stepped closer, voice soft. Greater than, you visit her every night, don't you? Naruto didn't turn around. Greater than, if I stop, I'm afraid she'll disappear again. Hinata knelt beside him, brushing her fingers over the petals of a crimson lily. Greater than, Kushina-sama isn't gone. She's part of your blessing, and your pain. He looked at her, eyes tired but tender. Greater than, you still see me as the same idiot who used to burn ramen. She smiled, tears glinting. Greater than, always. No matter how bright your light becomes. He touched her hand, their fingers interlacing, warmth grounding him in the moment. But when he leaned closer, his chakra flickered, golden and black, burning the grass beneath his feet. He stepped back, frightened. Greater than, see, even now, I can't hold you without hurting something. Hinata rose and embraced him anyway, ignoring the faint burn. Greater than, then let it hurt. Because that pain means you're still human. Quote, for the first time in months, Naruto let himself cry. Not the loud sobs of a warrior, but the quiet tears of a boy who missed his mother, his friends, his innocence. Dash dash dash. Chapter 25 The Blessings Curse. As weeks passed, something began to change inside him. His chakra no longer pulsed with steady rhythm, it sang. Birds stopped mid-flight when he walked by. Rivers shimmered gold. Children near him felt warmth even in winter. But every time he used his power to heal or bless someone, a part of his body turned faintly transparent, glowing like starlight. Sakura discovered it first. Greater than, Naruto, your cells, they're turning into energy. If this continues, you'll fade. Naruto laughed softly. Greater than, guess the gods are collecting rent. Hinata's hands shook. Greater than, no, there has to be a way to stop it. But Naruto shook his head gently. Greater than, Hinata, maybe this is how it's supposed to be. The blessing came from heaven. Maybe it just wants to go home. Kurama growled. Greater than, don't you dare talk like that. You think the world can run without its heart. Quote, Naruto's voice cracked. Greater than, the world doesn't need a king forever, Kurama. It needs to learn to love itself. Dash dash dash. Chapter 26 The Letter. One night, Naruto called Konohamaru, Sarada, Boruto, and Hinawari into his chamber. He handed each a scroll, sealed with the Uzumaki spiral. Greater than, if one day I'm gone, these are not orders, they're reminders of what I wanted this world to be. Himawari's eyes filled with tears. Greater than, Papa, you're not going anywhere, right? Quote, he smiled softly, lifting her into his arms. Greater than, you know how I always said everyone's chakra connects us. She nodded, sniffling. Greater than, then even if I'm not here, you'll still feel me, right here. Quote, he placed his hand on her heart. That's the real blessing. Boruto turned away, clenching his fists. Greater than, you're not dying, old man. Not after all this, Naruto chuckled. Greater than, you sound like me when I was your age. Quote, Chapter 27 Kushina's last visit. That night, when he finally drifted into sleep, he found himself standing in a field of stars. The air shimmered red gold, and there, smiling, stood his mother. Kushina's voice trembled. Greater than, you've carried it far enough, my son. Naruto's eyes filled with tears. Greater than, I thought your blessing was to make me strong. Greater than, no, she said gently. It was to teach you how to let go. Quote, he fell to his knees, sobbing. Greater than, but if I go, what happens to them? To Hinata, to the kids. She knelt and hugged him, her warmth infinite. Greater than, you gave them light. Now let them shine without you. Quote, he whispered, voice breaking. Greater than, I'm scared, Kachan. She smiled through her tears. Greater than, that means you're still my little boy. Chapter 28 The Final Sunrise. The next morning, the palace bells rang for no reason. People came out to see a strange sight, golden petals falling from the sky like snow. Hinata found Naruto in the garden, sitting beside the crown, eyes closed, smiling peacefully. His body shimmered softly, not fading, but transforming into pure light. She fell to her knees, clutching his hand. Greater than, please, not yet. Naruto's voice echoed faintly, carried by the wind. Greater than, I'll always be here, Hina, in every sunrise, in every heartbeat that dares to love. Quote, the light expanded, wrapping her gently, leaving warmth and silence behind. Chapter 29 The King in the Sky. That night, the stars formed a new constellation, a spiral of gold and black. The children of every nation pointed up and said, Greater than, look, the king is watching. Hinata stood on the balcony, tears on her face but a smile on her lips. She whispered to the stars, Greater than, you're finally free, Naruto-kun. And the wind carried back a whisper, playful, familiar. Greater than, believe it. Epilogue, the blessing lives on. Years later, the world thrived. No wars, no kings, just unity. At every festival, the people released lanterns into the sky, each carrying a single word written on it. Hope. And somewhere beyond the stars, Kushina and Naruto watched, a mother and son smiling in the quiet peace they had both fought and wept for. Because in the end, the true blessing wasn't power, or kingship, or victory. It was simply love that outlasted everything. The Queen of the Silent Garden. Chapter 30 The Empty Side of the Bed. The morning after the golden light vanished, Konoha Reborn was silent. No birds sang. Even the wind seemed to pause, as if afraid to disturb the grief that hung over the world. In the royal quarters, Hinata sat on the edge of the bed. Naruto's cloak lay folded beside her, still warm, still carrying his scent. She traced the spiral pattern with trembling fingers. He had promised he'd always be there. And somehow, he was. She could feel it, in the way sunlight touched her skin, in the soft hum in the air whenever she whispered his name. Greater than, Naruto-kun, she murmured, her voice cracking. You kept your promise, you just didn't say how. The room answered with silence, yet in that silence, there was presence. A warmth she couldn't see, but could feel. Chapter 31 The Garden of Light. Every evening, Hinata walked to the garden where he had vanished. The flowers there never wilted now. Each petal glowed faintly gold and black, like the balance Naruto had carried within him. She would kneel among them, hands folded, and whisper stories, not prayers. Greater than, Himawari drew a picture of you today. She said you're smiling in the stars. Boruto pretends not to believe her, but he keeps looking at the sky when no one's watching. Quote, the petals stirred gently, as if listening. Greater than, I miss your laugh, she whispered. The way you'd burn ramen every time I turned around. She smiled through her tears. Greater than, I'd burn 1,000 bowls just to hear that again. Quote, one night, she felt the faintest brush of warmth on her cheek, a breeze that whispered softly. Greater than, Tobio. She closed her eyes and wept, both in pain and peace. Because he was gone, and yet, he never truly left. Chapter 32 The Festival of Lanterns. A year passed. Every nation gathered under the moonlight for the first Festival of Lanterns, honoring the man who had united them. Thousands of golden lanterns floated upward, their reflections dancing in the rivers below. Hinata stood at the front, dressed in white and crimson, the colors of Uzumaki and Hyuga entwined. Beside her, Boruto and Himawari released their lanterns together. On theirs was written a single word. Papa. The crowd fell silent as Hinata stepped forward to speak, her voice trembling but strong. Greater than, he once told me that peace isn't something you win in battle. It's something you live for, even when it hurts. He gave this world everything, not so we'd worship him, but so we'd remember how to love. She raised her lantern. Greater than, so tonight, don't pray for him. Smile for him, because that's what he'd do for all of us. Quote, as the lanterns rose, the sky shimmered faintly, forming a golden spiral that pulsed like a heartbeat. The people gasped. Hinata smiled through tears. Greater than, you're watching, aren't you? Chapter 33 The Queen's Burden. Peace continued, but for Hinata, life moved slower. Every decision, every council meeting, every quiet morning carried his shadow beside it. She never called herself queen, though the world treated her like one. She preferred, guardian. That's what Naruto had been, and what she vowed to remain. At night, she sat by the window, writing letters she never sent. Each began the same way. Greater than my love, today the world smiled again. She would describe the smallest things. How Konohamaru scolded Boruto for being late, how the children of every village now studied together, how the old temples sang songs about peace instead of gods. Then, at the end of every letter, she'd write, greater than I still feel you, Naruto-kun. In every breath of wind. In every dawn that refuses to die. She would seal the letter and burn it, letting the smoke drift upward to wherever he was. Chapter 34 Memories in the Rain. One rainy afternoon, Hinata wandered into the training fields where Naruto used to teach the young ones. The puddles shimmered with golden light, as if the rain itself carried his chakra. She remembered the way he used to trip over his own enthusiasm, the way he'd shout, believe it. Even when he failed 1,000 times. A small boy training nearby fell and scraped his knee. Hinata hurried to him, healing the wound gently. The boy looked up, embarrassed. Greater than, sorry, Lady Hinata. I wanted to be strong like King Naruto. She smiled softly. Greater than, then remember what he always said, strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting up one more time. Quote, the boy grinned through his tears. Greater than, that sounds like him. As he ran off, Hinata looked to the sky, whispering. Greater than, you're still teaching him, aren't you? A distant rumble of thunder answered, soft, warm, familiar. Almost like laughter. Chapter 35 The Visit. That night, as she drifted into sleep, Hinata found herself standing in the garden again. But this time, it was filled with golden light, alive, pulsing. And there he was. Naruto stood before her, not as a ghost, but as light shaped into the man she loved. His eyes, warm, blue, infinite, looked at her with the same boyish grin. Greater than, hey, Hina, he said softly. Sorry I made you wait. Her breath caught. Greater than, Naruto-kun, is it really you? He nodded, stepping closer. Greater than, not for long. Just, had to see you one more time. Tears fell freely now. Greater than, I miss you every day. Quote, he reached out, his hand hovering near her cheek, close enough to feel warmth, too far to touch. Greater than, I know. But you kept your promise, you kept living. She smiled through her sobs. Greater than, it hurts, but, I do it because you taught me how. Quote, he laughed gently. Greater than, you were always stronger than me. They stood in silence, surrounded by golden lilies swaying like stars. Then he whispered, "Greater than, when you look at the sunrise tomorrow, I'll be there. Not as a king, just as your idiot who never knew when to quit." She closed her eyes. "Greater than, I'll look every morning." When she opened them again, he was gone, but the flowers glowed brighter than ever before. Chapter 36 The Final Dawn. Years passed. The world changed, technology grew, generations flourished. But in the garden of the palace, one woman remained, older now, gentler, eyes still full of quiet love. Hinata sat beneath the same tree where Naruto had once rested after training. Himawari's children played nearby, laughter echoing through the air. She closed her eyes as the wind brushed her face, and for a moment, she could almost hear his voice again, teasing, laughing, alive. "Greater than, you did great, Hina." Her lips curved into a faint smile. "Greater than, you too, Naruto-kun." The sun rose higher, golden light washing over everything, the city, the garden, her face. And as the wind carried through the trees, the petals of the lilies glowed once more, forming, for just a heartbeat, the shape of two figures standing together. Hinata's breath slowed, her eyes softened, and in that final, gentle instant, she whispered, "Greater than, I'm coming home." The wind rose, not mournful, but full of peace. Two lights, one gold, one white, spiraled upward, merging with the sunrise. Epilogue, the king and queen of the morning. When the people of Konoha Reborn woke that day, the dawn was unlike any before. The sun rose in twin halos, one golden, one silver, crossing paths in the sky. Children pointed upward, elders whispered blessings, and deep within every heart, a warmth bloomed, familiar, loving, eternal. For though the king and queen were gone from the earth, their love had become the light that would guide it forever. If you enjoy this fanfic, then please like and subscribe my channel Narutofix 11 for more fanfic. Thank you.